Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services, a premier institution for preparing for civil services in India. Today, I am here for a daily news and editorial analysis for 13th and 14th of February 2024. And this editorial analysis is going to be important for all three stages of UPSC, which are UPSC prelims, mains and interview process. And apart from UPSC exams, this editorial analysis will be helpful for all the government exams in India. So, without further delay, let us begin the analysis. Recently, Finance Minister of India termed the India-Middle East Economic Corridor as a strategic game changer for India. And in this context, this news becomes important for UPSC prelims and also for General Studies paper 2 of UPSC mains. And under General Studies paper 2, the main syllabus is going to be the global groupings. The points of discussion of this topic is going to be the IMEC, which is India Middle East Economic Corridor, and we will also understand the significance of this project for India, and we will also discuss the PYQ related to this topic. Before we begin the analysis, let us understand the India Middle East Economic Corridor through map. So, this is the map of India Middle East Economic Corridor, and this economic corridor firstly starts from Mumbai, which is in India, and this will then connect to Jebel Ali in UAE, then it will go to Guaifat in UAE, then Harda in Saudi Arabia, then Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, then Al Hadith in Saudi Arabia and Haifa in Israel, and lastly this route will end at Piraeus in Greece. So, these are the important routes that IMEC will follow. You need to know all the names of the places that this route will connect, and the name of these places becomes important from UPSC prelims perspective in places in news. So, remember all the cities and the places that is being connected by IMEC corridor. So, that was the IMEC corridor through map. Now, let us understand what is IMEC corridor and its features in details. The India Middle East Economic Corridor is basically a route consisting of shipping, railway and road project, and there are two parts of this economic corridor. The first one is the East Corridor that will connect India with Middle Eastern region. Then there is Northern Corridor which connects the Gulf countries with the European countries. So, the East Corridor and North Corridor are two parts of IMEC, and the IMEC corridor will also include the electricity cable, hydrogen pipeline and also the high speed data cable. So, not only the road, rail and the shipping project are included under this IMEC, but also the electricity cable, hydrogen pipeline and high speed data cable are also included under the IMEC project. And the signatories of this IMEC project are India, US, Saudi Arabia, UAE, European Union, Italy, France and Germany. So, you need to remember the names of all the signatories that is in the IMEC. So, these facts becomes important for UPSC prelims perspective. Now, let us look at the significance of this project. India Middle East Economic Corridor is very significant for India because through this route India can bypass Pakistan to reach the countries in Middle East and in the Europe. If India had to take the route of Pakistan, reaching the Middle Eastern countries and European countries would have been easier, but Pakistan being a hostile country, taking the route of Pakistan to reach these countries in Europe and Middle East becomes difficult. So, this IMEC is seen as an alternative route to reach these countries by bypassing Pakistan. Second significance of this route is the strategic engagement of India with Arabian Peninsula becomes easier, and by connecting the Arabian Peninsula, India can also connect with the South African countries. So, connecting with the African countries becomes easier for India, and one of the important point to remember in this IMEC is that the transit time to Europe would be reduced to 40% compared to the Suez Canal maritime route. And the most important significance of India Middle East Economic Corridor is that the IMEC has been seen by India as the alternative to Belt and Road Initiative of China. China has been trying to encircle India with Belt and Road Initiative by building ports and infrastructure projects in Indian Ocean region, and the IMEC is being seen as alternative to BRI by India. So, for these reasons IMEC becomes very significant for India. Now, let us look at the UPSC PYQ that has been asked from the similar topic. So, this is the UPSC previous year's question, and this question was asked in UPSC previous years in UPSC 2020, and the question was the 𝐂𝐚 glacier is located to the east of 𝐂𝐾, the east of Ladakh, to the north of Gilgit, to the north of Nubra Valley. So, you have to answer the correct place where the 𝐂𝐚 glacier is located. So, this type of places in news is asked in UPSC. So, comment the answer of this question in the comment section. Now, let us move into another topic of today. Before I start the analysis of next news, I have a good news for you. Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services is conducting free online mock test on 25th of February from 11 am to 1 pm, and the name of this mock test series is Prelims Mirror. The most important part of this test series is that the top 3 rankers of this test series would be given the access to 45 high quality test series by the Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services, and also the top 4th to top 10th ranker would be given access to 10 high level test series prepared by Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. You can register yourself for this test by scanning the QR code given here, and you can also go through the details of this test series in the description section. Now, let us go into the analysis of next news. Recently, Satyendra Nath Bose Tagore was in news, and in this context, this news becomes important for UPSC prelims, which is personalities in news, and in GS2 of UPSC mains as well, this news becomes important, and in GS2 this news becomes important in achievements of Indians in science and technology. The point of discussion of this topic is going to be the context of the news. We will understand about the context of the news, why Satyendra Nath Bose was in news. We will understand about the contributions made by the Satyendra Nath Bose in the field of science and technology in India. We will understand about the 5 states of matter. What are 5 states of matter? We will understand about that. Then lastly, we will look at the UPSC PYQ, which was asked from similar topic. Now, let us begin the analysis. The context of this news is that recently Satyendra Nath Bose National Center for Basic Sciences in Kolkata celebrated the 100th anniversary of the last of the 4 revolutionary publications of Satyendra Nath Bose that led to the new quantum mechanics. So, that was the context of this news, and the Satyendra Nath Bose National Center for Basic Sciences is located in Kolkata, and it is an autonomous research institute established under the Department of Science and Technology in 1986. So, these are the important facts and the context about the Satyendra Nath Bose and the Satyendra Nath Bose National Center for Basic Sciences. Now, let us discuss the contributions made by the Satyendra Nath Bose in the field of science and technology in India. There are basically 3 main contributions made by Satyendra Nath Bose in the field of science and technology. The first one is that he laid the foundation of quantum statistics in world. So, this is very important point. Secondly, he collaborated with Einstein that led to the development of Bose-Einstein condensate theory. So, this point is very important. So, he collaborated with Einstein to predict the 5th state of matter, which is called the Bose-Einstein condensate. So, we will understand about what is Bose-Einstein condensate as well. And the last important contribution he made in the field of science and technology is that he deduced the Planck's black body radiation law without any reference to classical electrodynamics. So, these 3 are main contribution of SN Bose in the field of science and technology. So, you need to remember all the contribution that he has made in the field of science and technology. Now, let us understand more about the 5 states of matter. Let us understand what are the 5 states of matter. Naturally, there are 4 states of matter, which are solids, liquids, gases and plasma. When gases are heated at very high temperature, the gases starts behaving like plasma. But a 5th state of matter is also there, and that 5th state of matter was discovered by Satyendra Nath Bose, and that 5th state of matter is called the Bose-Einstein condensate. Bose-Einstein condensate are formed when particles are cooled to near absolute 0 temperature, which is minus 273.15 degrees centigrade. So, when particles and substances are cooled below this temperature, that substance or particles will act as a quantum particle, and that particle will have both the wave nature and the particle nature, and for this reason that particle is called the Bose-Einstein condensate. So, these were the important facts about the 5 states of matter. Now, let us look at the UPSC PYQ that has been asked from this topic. UPSC in 2018 asked a question directly from the Bose-Einstein statistics and the contribution of S.N. Bose in the field of the Bose-Einstein statistics. And the question was, discuss the work of Bose-Einstein statistics done by Professor Satyendra Nath Bose and show how it revolutionized the field of physics. And in this question, you can directly write the contributions of the Satyendra Nath Bose and also the work that he did in the field of Bose-Einstein statistics. So, this type of question is asked in UPSC and you should be prepared about the contributions made by scientists in different fields from India. Try answering this question at home. Now, let us move into another topic of discussion for today. Recently, the toy industry of India has seen an unprecedented growth. In this context, this news becomes important for General Studies paper 2, and under General Studies paper 2, the main syllabus of this topic is going to be the government policies and intervention. The point of discussion of this topic is going to be the context. We will understand why this topic was in news and we will understand about the facts and figures that has led to the growth of India's toy industries, and we will understand about the reason for growth of India's toy industry. Then we will understand the challenges faced by Indian toy industry. Then lastly, we will look at the facts and figures related to the Indian toy industry. Now, let us begin the analysis. As we just discussed, recently India's toy industry has seen an unprecedented growth and the export from India increased by 239% and the imports dropped by 52% between 2014-15 and 2022-23. So, the export has grown by more than 200% and the imports has reduced by 52%. So, this makes India a net exporter of the toys from India. So, for this reason, this news becomes important from UPSC mains perspective, and the reasons for the growth of India's toy exports are the tariff and non-tariff barriers. The government of India has increased the customs duty on toys from 20% to 70% in March 2023. Before March 2023, the customs duty on toys was only 20%. But it has now been increased to 70%. So, this was one of the reason why the exports of toys from India is increasing. And another reason for the growth of India's toy industry is the disruption in global supply chain. During the COVID-19, the import of toys from China was reduced, and due to decrease in the imports of toys from China, the domestic manufacturers started making more toys in India, and for this reason the domestic toy industries grew and the import from China decreased, and ultimately the export of toys manufactured in India started increasing. So, these are the main reasons for the rise of the export of toys from India. And now, let us look at more important facts and figures related to the toy industry from India. Indian toy industry faces many challenges in India. The most important challenge that Indian toy industry faces is the dependence on the foreign sources for raw materials. The Indian toy industries depend on foreign sources for raw materials, and Indian toy industries mostly import from the foreign countries like South Korea and Japan for the raw materials. So, this dependence on foreign countries for raw materials makes the cost of manufacturing for domestic toys very high. The second challenge that Indian toy industry faces is related to the lack of technology. The technologies used by the domestic manufacturers of toys are very outdated, and that outdated technology affects the quality and design of the toys. So, the quality and design of toys made in India are not up to the global standards. So, that is one of the challenges. The third challenge that Indian toy industry faces is the high tax regime in India. The electronic toys, for instance, has the 18% GST, and the non-electronic toys has the 12% GST in India. So, these GST rates are very high for toy industry in India, and this hinders the domestic toy industry in India. Another important challenge that Indian toy industry faces relates to the import from China. China constitutes around 80% of toy imports into India. which negatively impacts the domestic manufacturers. And the last important challenge faced by the Indian toy industry in India is the Indian toy industry is unorganized and mostly fragmented, because 90% of Indian toy industry are in the unorganized sector. So, these are the important challenges that Indian toy industry faces. Now, let us look at the important facts and figures related to the Indian toy industry vis-a-vis global toy industry. So, these are the important facts and figures related to toy industry in India. There are 4 to 5 lakh artisans making toys as a part of cottage industry in India, and the expected growth rate of the Indian toy industry from 2020 to 25 is around 15 to 20%, and globally this expected growth rate is only 4.5%. So, as compared to the global level, the expected growth of toy industry in India is much higher. So, for this reason the toy industry is very important for India, and there are 4,000 total toy manufacturing units in India, out of which 75% are micro units, 22% are small and medium enterprises, and only 3% are large players. So, from these figures you can say that only the few percentage of the manufacturers in toy industry in India are in the organized sector. So, these are the important facts and figures related to toy industry in India. Now, let us move into another topic of discussion for today. Recently, a news related to CAR-T cell therapy appeared in Indian Express, and this news becomes important for UPSC prelims perspective, and also for UPSC mains this news is important. And in UPSC mains, the syllabus of this topic is going to be GS3, and under GS3 the main syllabus is the biotechnology. The point of discussion of this topic is going to be CAR-T cell therapy. We will understand what is CAR-T cell therapy, we will understand about the procedures used in the CAR-T cell therapy, then we will understand about the significance of the CAR-T cell therapy in India and in global level, then we will look at the UPSC CAC PYQ that has been asked from this topic. Now, before we begin the analysis of this news, let us watch the small video clip of the CAR-T cell therapy.
T cells are normal cells of the immune system that help to fight off infections. T cells can react and kill cancer cells in the right circumstances. The problem is that some of the cancers can evade the immune system. CAR-T cell therapy is very unique and different than any other treatment that we've had. It's a treatment where we take the patient's own T cells and we modify them in a laboratory so that they can recognize and react against their cancer.
CAR-T cell therapy is a cell therapy that basically uses the patient's own cell to treat the cancers. So, unlike the chemotherapy and the immunotherapy which uses drugs to cure the cancers, but the CAR-T cell therapy uses the patient's own cells to treat the cancer. So, they are basically modified in laboratory to activate T cells and also to target the tumor cells. So, CAR-T cells basically target the tumor cells, and the CAR-T cell therapy has been approved for leukemias in India and also for lymphomas in India. So, for these two types of cancers, the CAR-T cell therapy has been approved in India. So, these are the important facts about the CAR-T cell therapy. Before the CAR-T cell therapy is started, the T cells are taken from the patient's blood, and then the special receptor gene is added to the T cell in laboratory. The special cell receptor then is added to the chimeric antigen receptor, which is CAR, and the large number of CAR-T, which is CAR cells, are grown in the laboratory and given to the patient by infusion. So, basically the T cells are extracted from the patient's cell, and the special receptor named CAR, which is chimeric antigen reactor, is added to the T cell, and finally CAR-T, which is chimeric antigen reactor T cells, are made in lab and they are multiplied, and that multiplied cell is added or the infused to the patient's body, and that CAR-T ultimately attacks the cancer cell. So, these are the important facts related to the CAR-T cell therapy. So, you can see in the picture T cells combined with the CAR and the CAR-T cell is made, and CAR-T cells is multiplied, and CAR-T cell is now finally infused into the human body. So, these are the important procedures and facts related to CAR-T cells. Now, let us look at the significance of CAR-T cells for India. 𝐸 cells are very significant for India because it has high level of efficiency and they are also called the living drugs. So, this point is important and this keyword can be used in your mains answer writing. There are many challenges related to 𝐸 cell therapy, and the first challenge is that the 𝐸 cell therapy is very difficult to prepare. The first successful trial was done a decade ago, but the first indigenously developed therapy in India was performed only in 2021. So, it took a decade to prepare the first indigenously developed therapy in 𝐸 in India. Another challenge is the side effects. There are many side effects associated with the 𝐸 cell therapy. The most important side effect is cytokine release syndrome, and neurological symptoms are associated with the 𝐸 cell therapy. So, these were the important significance and challenges of 𝐸 cell therapy. Now, let us understand what are T cells and its significance. T cells are also known as T lymphocytes and they are a type of white blood cells. So, there are basically 3 types of white blood cells in human body. The first one is called red blood cells. The red blood cells are also called erythrocytes, and there is second type of bloods which is white blood cells, they are called leukocytes, and the third type of blood that human body contains is the platelets, and they are also called thrombocytes. The main function of the red blood cells are to help in oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange in the circulatory system, and the main function of white blood cells are to fight against the external antigens and external substances. So, basically white blood cells are related to the immunity of the body, and there are 5 types of white blood cells. First one is neutrophil, second one is eosinophil, third one is basophil, fourth is lymphocyte, and the fifth one is monocyte. So, T cells are basically lymphocytes. So, these are the important facts related to T cells, and T cells are also known as T lymphocytes, and they are a type of white blood cells that play a central role in cell mediated immunity, which means they help the body recognize and respond to the foreign substances such as viruses, bacteria, and abnormal cells such as cancer cells. So, T cells are basically associated with the defense mechanism of body, and they fight against the external substances and the viruses, bacteria, etc. So, these are the important facts related to the T cells. Now, let us look at the UPSC PYQ that was asked from this topic. Now, this is the UPSC Civil Services PYQ that was asked in UPSC CSE 2022, and the question was, which of the following statements best describes the role of B cells and T cells in the human body? So, this was the question that was directly asked from T cells and B cells. Comment the answer of this question in the comment section. So, that was the last topic of analysis for today, and today as well I have brought an important tip of the day for you, and in today's tip I have got an important quote for you, and the quote is very simple. Now, let us look at the quote that I have brought for you. So, the quote that I have got for you today is, "The Rome was not built in a day." The UPSC aspirants and the government job aspirants should understand that it takes some time for good things to happen, and they should believe in their journey. And with that, I am concluding today's session. We will meet again in the next video. Thank you. Take care.